yourself, and we can hear a little bit about that story. You know where it is? It's right there. I'll unmute you. Go ahead. I got you.
Oh, okay. So I just happened to be at home one day when I got a lead. And so instead of me trying to respond to the lead, I used Julie and basically asked them if they would prefer to get the internet's best guess in terms of evaluation, or if they would prefer for Keisha to come over and, do a walkthrough for 20 minutes, and she could be able to give them a better, a better range, having seen the property. So they preferred that Keisha come over for the 20 minutes. So I allowed, I worked through Julie and allowed Julie to set up to schedule the appointment, and then Keisha called to confirm.
It can be weird talking about yourself in third person, right?
Yeah. Because I think people like to know that you have an assistant, or it's like a team of people. It just happened to be a week where one of my colleagues was going in that direction, and I have like a seller's guide, and I asked her if she would drop it off at the house, and she did. So when she went, she introduced herself and said, "Hi, so and so. I'm Keisha's assistant. She wanted me to drop this off. I know you have a meeting scheduled with her tomorrow, but she wanted me to drop this off ahead of time." So this particular week, I just looking golden. So by the time I got there, I already had a rapport with her. And unfortunately, I'm not going to get to list her house right now. More so because she needs to bring her credit score up so that she can purchase. And that's the other piece of it. I never want to, be that person you just say, "Hey, sell your house," without knowing what your end game is. So I had her work with my lender to get pre-approved. And he could not approve her at this particular time. But in maybe 6 months, he'll reevaluate to see, okay, can we approve her, and then, we can put her house in the market.
And I think that the fact that you did go above and beyond, I mean, it's the same thing as I always say with Facebook. Facebook's not a linear platform. It's, an interconnected, tangled webs of connections and strings and streams, whatever you want to call it, such as life, right? I mean, that individual, while she may not be necessarily ready to buy that next home and sell what she's currently in, I think the fact that you spent that extra bit of time, you built that relationship, not only are you going to get that one whenever it is that she's ready, what's the likelihood of her saying something nice about you, right? Somebody else that she may know that is more ready to go, what's the likelihood of her saying, "Hey, this Keisha lady came over, did all these things for me. She put me in touch with a lender." If she's felt looked after, when it comes up in conversation that somebody else might be ready, you're getting that recommendation, maybe a referral right away, right? So, and not everybody is the same. And we always try to make sure that's clear as well, is that, you're going to find people who are ready to go right away. You're going to find people who are further away, and individuals like this one, now that you've built that relationship, hopefully you've added them as a friend on Facebook, and, you're going to keep that conversation going there and add them into that list like we've shown, and just build that relationship and keep nurturing it. And while, we're not looking for everybody who's 6 months away, we're looking for people who are closer, of course, but those ones they fall into our laps a little bit easier, right? And once again, are you going to need a deal in 6 months as bad as you do today? Right? I mean, it's always nice to be able to build that database, keep having more people adding to it. And, good things happen when you do good things, right?
Yep.
So is her name Sharhonda, that lead?
Yeah.
Can I show the team the SMS conversation you had in there? Cool. So if I go into your dashboard, here's what we're going to see is, so you guys, this is how Keisha was using it. Basically, "Hi, Sharhonda, this is Julie. I work with Keisha. So you're interested in your home value. So anything specific about your home may affect this value. Any updates?" "Hello, Julie. It's been painted on the outside, but nothing else major." Okay. "Hey, thanks for the response. Are you interested in a quick assessment based on the internet's best value? Or would you like to schedule a 20-minute walkthrough with Keisha this week?" Smart job. Good job. A 20-minute walkthrough this week would be great. I work from home and I'm free every day except Thursday this week. Does Wednesday, May 22nd at 11 a.m. work for you? Yes, that works, right? So it's as simple as that. You guys can see right there, that's how she got it. And I mean, that's a simple takeaway. It was perfect. It was this response right here. I would take away for all you guys. I'll do a copy paste into the chat feature. I think that was a great move, Keisha.
I also love the almost setting of an appointment while still giving them a choice. It's not saying, okay, well, Thursday's not going to work. When would work better for you? While sometimes that works, I like being more direct. It's the same thing as giving somebody 20 choices or two. You give somebody 2 choices, they're going to pick one. You give somebody 20 choices, and it's like, well, I'll get back to you, blah, 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 blah. And they may never get back to you. But I love this, does this time work for you, right? You give them that one, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, you can give them another one, of course, right? But that to me was also perfect. Does this time work? Because you want to choose something that works for yourself as well, right? I think that was awesome.
Yeah, so someone has a question on that one. Looks like Kevin. Go ahead. I'm gonna unmute you. What would you like to ask on that?
Oh
one?
yeah, how did she custom? I mean, you can customize those texts.
You can, but at the same time, she didn't customize it. What happened was the original text that was sent was the default, but as soon as a response is received, the automations paused. No more texts get sent off automatically. She went through and continued that conversation herself, right? So you can get into that same text screen, and after the lead has responded, you can text back to them as Julie from within your dashboard.
Yeah, no, I realize that, but as far as when she mentioned, would you like to do gave her 2 choices regarding the walkthrough or a simple evaluation, was that her text or was?
Yeah, so that was her. So the first one was hey Share Honda, this is Julie. I work with Keisha. You're interested in your home value. That's the same one as the default for everybody. And then when the lead responded, hello, Julie, it's been painted, she went in manually now and wrote the rest of the one. Thanks for your response.
Right down here.
Okay.
Yeah, right down here. That's what you're meant to be doing, Kevin, and everybody. You guys, once the response happens, the automation stops automatically, right? And you take over the conversation as Julie. And that's exactly what Keisha did. And that's why she was able to turn that into an appointment. One thing you can do is if you have on your computer, sticky pads or notepads or whatever you may have that you can save some, pre-scripted responses or something like that. You can have like a little section of Julie responses so that when you get a normal response, you could even just kind of copy and paste it in there if you like. But I mean, realistically, you kind of want to keep that as natural as possible. As soon as somebody does respond, something like this is perfect though. So follow that general model.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Any questions on Julie other than the obvious? I mean, so if has anyone gone in there and changed or edited Julie at this point? I'm curious, because if you do, just make sure you're able to measure tangibly those results and don't waste too much time before you're not, because the whole thing is you want to get replies, and I think it's set up for you to win in that case.
Yeah, and I mean, I did have this gentleman's not on this meeting, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd ask him to share this. But we did have an individual recently make a bunch of edits. He was getting a lot of responses to his original Julie text, and his thought was, "Well, I don't want it to be Julie. I want it to be me," and that's fair, and that's a natural. It's a natural thing. People don't want necessarily their assistant sometimes to do it. They want to do it themselves. So he changed the automatic text messages to be more, hey, this is me. This is who I am. This is what I'm kind of all about and everything like that. And while his text messages, I will say, were very well written, they were more the standard what you'd expect to see from an agent, in my opinion. And immediately he went from roughly a 30% response rate to Julie to absolutely zero. He went an entire week and a half with 0 responses. So finally, just yesterday, we switched him back to the default. I checked this morning, he already has a response again, right? So while it is important to put your own fingerprints on everything, especially in the emails, I feel as if Julie is best left alone, at least until you've really exhausted it. Make sure that you've really leaned into that and let it run and do its thing first.
Totally agree.
I've been changing my other stuff off my other lead generation for everything that's read text to putting Julie on those instead of me, because I've gotten a better response to her. Like I said last week, that it's almost like Julie got asked for a date, so I was laughing about that. But I just sit there and just tell them, hey, she's part of the team, da 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 da. That way, whoever's talking, they don't feel like handed over or passed off. They know she's still part of the group.
Well, there's a reason why we've used the Julie name as well. Same thing. I had another individual I had a conversation on this the other day about is he has 2 ISAs. He has 2 live agents who just cold call and answer phones, and that's really what they do. And they're both around the same age. One's a man, one's a woman. And over the Memorial Day weekend, of course, he didn't have people calling on Monday, but he did have people calling, the Friday, Saturday. And while he got a lot of no's, the young lady got polite no's. Right? Sorry, no, I'm not interested this time. Whereas the male was certainly told in much more colorful language where to go and how to get there. So, and we always say the same thing. We've tested other names. Men prefer to deal with men. Men prefer to deal with women. Women prefer to deal with women as well. It seems like when it comes to that initial contact, right? So really use that to your benefit. I think that it's having Julie there it's a lifesaver. It really helps.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if you guys ever do customize this. Let us know the responses. I mean, the first one does its job. You might think about the second one, the third one, the fourth one, the fifth one. Also knowing that, of course, it's all about understanding once the response happens, it automatically stops, right? So I would probably keep the first one. It seems to work really well, but there's some room probably to look at the second, third, fourth, and fifth ones that might help encourage those ones that are not automatically responding to the first one. So just some thoughts there, because, if you wanted to go in there and change it, you're just going to, I'll share the screen again. You're going into this portion of your dashboard where it says automations. And wow, you got a lot of automations here. And, obviously choose the right automation because you're going to have to do it. And that's why in the future with this type of stuff, we recommend don't setting up new funnels every time, because a seller is a seller is a seller. Just keep the automations the same. If you have one automation there, it's way easier than trying to figure out which automation to edit. It's going to be a lot more heartache for you and a headache to do. But let me just give you the example. If you edit the automation, you're just scrolling down to the bottom of your automations, and about 2/3 down, this is where you can actually go in there and start editing. And you could edit the time it's being sent out to. It doesn't have to be 3 minutes, just to let you guys know. You can come in here and change the name. You can change the text that's being sent out. I mean, you can do whatever you want. Just know you can turn them on and off here, but look, it's how it's meant to be set up. It's 3 minutes later, 11 minutes later, a day after that, and then lastly, the last day. So read through all those texts just to make sure that they are something that you would, be okay with based on representing you. And if you had an assistant, which is that how you'd want them to text, that's my recommendation there. Cool. Let's see here. I'm going to stop share for a second. Everyone clear on that? Does that make sense?
Hey, Marcus. So basically, just keep the automations the same the way they are. They are pretty much. And then when you want to add text, to respond to if someone responds to one of the texts, then just add your own through that other portal.
Yeah, it's like you were chatting through text message or messenger, but you continue the conversation as Julie because they're talking to Julie, right? So you kind of take the step back and pretend that you had an assistant and your assistant was talking to this person, and in that you're kind of positioning yourself to win and hopefully getting that listing appointment booked. But I would say less is more initially. The more you can do to uncover what they're looking to accomplish and try to get more information pulled out of them, the better it's going to be for you as you pass the information on to yourself.
Got it. Okay, thanks.
I'm going to try, what I'm going to do on mine though, because I always press the team concept, is I'm still leave Julie on there as primary, and her pass off would be myself or one of our other team members. Because that way, if you break in and by mistake forget to put Julie, then they're not totally out with that, who is this, and you scrambling trying to give an answer that doesn't make them blow you off.
Yeah, no, I like that. Smart. Yeah, I mean, you got to obviously make it work for your own workflow and for your team. So that's
And same thing, like let's just say, for instance, you get a text, like so you should be getting the text notification to your own cell phone when Julie gets a response as well, right? And while you can't reply to that notification text, it goes nowhere. You can copy the phone number because in your notification text, it will let you know the name, the number, and the response, and then you can simply reference Julie as well, right? You can simply text the individual from your own phone and say, hey, my assistant Julie just passed your info over to me and made sure to let me know to follow up with you right away, something like that, right? So I didn't want to wait till I was back in the office. My assistant Julie passed her info and I wanted to get in touch right away, something like that, but still referencing Julie is beneficial.
Yeah, I think there's some fun things you can do there too with passing off your Facebook profile information as well. Julie passing it off and say, hey, you can check your Facebook Messenger as well. We'll get you the home value that way. I don't know, just some ideas outside the box to consider, especially for you guys trying to merge the conversation back to Facebook. So any other wins that anybody wants to talk about, or specifically the automations that you want to talk about, the email automations that are going out? Because remember, there's a 9-month-long drip email campaign in there, of which you do not want to just let it be the way it is. You might want to turn certain sequences off, which you can, or you might want to go in there and edit that specific text, because it is a great thing to have in there, but it's not necessarily going to be your workflow. And there might be things that you want to do, either changing the questions being asked, or if you guys are BombBomb users, the thought process is to have a BombBomb video with every step of the way as well. Why not embed a video, not only in the intro, but day 3, day 10, all the way down the whole way? Something to consider, right? Because I know a lot of you guys are doing the first initial introduction, but why not do it all the way through and change that up? Because that's still face-to-face every single time, and that's free for you because it just stays on unless you turn it off. So don't get caught in the box. Remember that if I go in here and share with you the drip, it's in here. And every single one of those, you can go in there and edit and change. You can change the subject line. Don't ever be content with the stuff the way it is. I don't know where we got it, this specific script from, but it's always been there. So, we'll hopefully find a way to make that better one day. But I think the opportunity for you to go in there and literally edit these, and you don't have to have the subject line say that. You don't have to say day 10, 17, 24, etc. You might change that a little bit up to be reflecting the way you'd want them to be dripped on, if they might as well, come in and be curious. But at every opportunity, when you go in there and edit, is the opportunity to put in your email signature, right? Put in your picture. Like, make sure to get your brand all over these automations. Put in the video. Don't just leave it generic, because unfortunately, I don't think you're setting yourself up for a win if you're just going to let this generic drip work on for you. It just, maybe you get the occasional reply. Maybe someone gets annoyed and they unsubscribe. So any thoughts on that, Logan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's important to be able to manage that, and when you're seeing people who want to be removed from it, make sure you remove them from it and everything like that. Stay up to date on the content that's within them, right? Obviously, all these emails were created quite some time ago, and while we do replace them every so often, it's been a little while. So go through these emails, make sure you read them, make sure that the content is appropriate to the information you're trying to disseminate, of course, and if at all possible, embed video instead. Right, in place of each and every one of these is an opportunity for you to have video. And I mean, while we're kind of on the comment section here, I'm going through. Julia, you had mentioned you'd run a 48-hour contest, and I'm looking through your contest here. I really like a lot of what I see. There's a few things that could be improved. I don't know, Marcus, if you're able to find this, I can Slack it to you. But
yeah, what's that?
Here, go.
What are we looking for?
I'll just send you this right here. So we can go into something else while you find this, but that's Julia's page, and there's a contest on there. I don't know if Julia, if you mind us sharing this with everybody.
Or are you slacking?
Yeah, that's fine.
It's fine?
Yep,
okay.
perfect.
Marcus, I sent you a private message with her Facebook profile. So if you want to just click on that, then you'll be able to go to her, and she's got a contest on here. Now, for what we're about to see, everybody, what she's done is she's gone ahead and run a contest. Now, Julia, once everybody else gets here and can see this, it'll make more sense to everybody else. But what you've done is you've offered a $25 Amazon gift card, and I think that first and foremost, any kind of gift is good. However, I always recommend gifting something local to the area that you're most interested in farming. So if you're running a contest around there it is right there. Okay, so now everybody can see this, right? 48-hour contest, share it. Now, a couple things. Try if you can when you say share, comment, and like, not or, because you're giving them the option to do one of the three. I want them to do all three, right? So I would say like, comment, and share this post to be entered to win. And then also your gift card or your whatever you're doing, try to make it something local to, once again, where you're farming the rest of your ads and things like that. For this particular one, if you are doing this, trying to get more exposure on this property, I think that's great. Once again, wherever this property is, I would certainly gift something around that, right? I really like the fact that you said when the contest ends and when the announcer will, or when the winner will be announced, I would try to also make sure that they know it'll be on Facebook Live, right? So that anybody who's then following this, they have the opportunity to see you go live on Thursday at 4:30. Right. And if you're doing this as part of an open house, you could even do it that way. You could say please everybody like, comment, and share. The winner will be announced at the open house at whatever time to try to get even more people to come through that listing. You could try it that way. And for anybody else who wants to run contests, we also recommend you can do this with a listing just like Julia has here, and I think that looks great. You could also do it from your street text ad, right? So with the ad that you're running, you can boost that out so that people far beyond your current reach are going to see it, and then do something exactly like that. I always like something like a 72-hour. In the next 72 hours, anybody who likes, comments, and shares this ad, you're going to be entered to win once again, $25 gift card to something, some local steak company, coffee shop, whatever it is. I'll be announcing the winner this coming Friday, same thing as Julie did at this time. You'll be able to find me on Facebook Live. Hope to see you all there, right? Something like that, but
yeah, and remember to do it to your personal page, not your business page, right? Your business page, unfortunately, unless you're running boosted or sponsored posts from that, no one's really seeing it. I'll be honest with you. No one's scrolling down their news feed. They're ever going to see that business page. I know it because I don't see any business pages, whether I like them or not and follow them. They're just not there unless there's a sponsored post, and Facebook just makes it like that. So you got to bring it back to your personal Facebook. Always share things back to your personal Facebook. Even the ad that you have out there running with Facebook right now, it increases the relevancy of that ad if you share it within your personal sphere, because I guarantee you they're going to be past clients or people you forgot about that will be interested. And it's when you share it, you want to share it including the post, not share, because someone's told me before, someone shared my link to the home value. Yeah, because they shared the link, they didn't include the post. You got to include the post for them to see that entire post. Right. So let me go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No. So if I share it to my personal page,
yeah,
I share it and then I click include the original post. Is
Correct.
that the case?
Yeah, I'm gonna show you an example if I can get to one.
Okay.
To an ad.
And also, Julia, was that a listing that you got through Street Text by any chance?
I just started.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Perfect. That is a beautiful home. I'm looking through it. I mean, man, that's a really nice place. I like that.
Yeah, I got that, and it was through Julie as well with the text message, and it really worked out well. And it was my first listing, so that was great.
Perfect. How did that conversation start? What did you say? How did which text did they respond to? Was it the first one?
Just the original Julie text that went out, and then we talked about updates, and then we made an appointment, and I went out with my broker, and it went well. She was a little bit reluctant at first to sign up, but then she signed on with us, so it was great.
Perfect. Well, congratulations. That's a really nice home.
Well done. Well done.
And I'm going to try sharing that now. Marcus, maybe you can show me exactly or what to do.
Yeah.
So then that way, if I share it, I could see still likes or comments from
Exactly.
that post.
So when I go into any of your guys, all of you guys can get to your ads from this section where you just click view your ads. So I'm just using yours, Keisha, for example, even though it's paused right now. What happens is, and you know, the beauty behind this is you can put these ads out even if you paused them and keep them running in your personal Facebook. That's the great thing. And you guys, that's a little hack right there for all these past ads that you have, right? It's like use the power of your personal sphere as well. Like you don't ask, the sponsored component is going to put you out there in front of new people. But this right here, by just clicking view your ad, gives you the opportunity to do this, what I'm about to share with you. You're going to share it just like this. But when you share, just follow me on this one because it's important to grasp. You have to go include original post, right? And you may remember, you know, share on your timeline and include original post. And then that's where you go up here and write the contest.
You know, and actually, and Sean had an interesting point here in terms of retargeting. I mean, it's not really retargeting per se, but I guess it's kind of like a hack in a sense. Now, you could go down and where it says public, you could share that to a list, right, Marcus?
Yeah. So that's where the idea of, if you guys are, you know, hopefully you've gotten this at this point, but the idea of dropping all these leads into a list as soon as they come in and profiling them and putting the list, whether or not they become friends or not, gives you the power to start directly posting to lists. So it's so important to start thinking about your entire Facebook friend list as, right? Because I want to know who I'm posting to. I don't want to always necessarily think public is the right way to go, because of course I don't need my family to be seeing these posts. I don't need to be these realtors that are my friends to be seeing this post. So I always think about, you know, my friends network and starting to think about the idea, are they into specific lists that I've created? At least the very minimum, start thinking about all your Facebook friends and the people that you actually have done clients with and put them in, or that are your clients or you've done business with, put them in a list, because that's your gold list. That's your repeat and referral list. You should know at all times where every single transaction is in Facebook, because those are the people that are going to be sending you referrals. Those are the people that you want to get in front of all the time with updates. Those are the people where you want to keep your real estate information relevant. All the other people, yeah, I mean, know where they are as well. But I mean, I think there's so much opportunities, and to start thinking about your friends, you know, and your personal Facebook as a customer relationship management system. And I think those who really key into that idea are going to really do well. Like it's your influencer model. It really is. It's the place where you can be in front of somebody, you know, it's an hour a day, because that's the average time spent on Facebook. So they're not sitting in their inboxes waiting for you. I promise you that. Makes sense? So at least start there with people that you've done business with or future potentials, you know, and the idea of the list aspect for me is, you guys all know that when you go into, and I don't, because I'm not hearing anybody do this, which is a little bit frustrating to me after all this time I've been spending on this. But, you know, when I go up here into my search engine, you know, and I search for anybody, like I'm going to search for you, Steve Skeet, for example. If I went to people and obviously there's a lot of Steve Skeets out there, right? But the idea is, if I start going into choosing the city, because I want to go search up here. So for you guys who are pulling up tax records, your address only leads, why aren't you profiling them? Why are you not putting a face to that address, right? Why aren't you doing that? That's a question I have for you. Why are you not making this real? Put a face to the address, go into that city where you're marketing or farming and search their name, right? What do you have to lose? You have everything to gain. You click on that person's profile, you send them a friend request, you drop them into a list, call it address onlys, you send them a Facebook message and let them know in that Facebook message that you're going to send something up in the mail for them. That's an amazing opportunity for you to put a message to your name. If they don't accept your friend request, no big deal, but forever you have them in the list now, and forever you have that message history. And now, just in case they do go to that message request folder, which is this one up here, because that's if they're not friends with you, it only show up in the recent. But by chance they accept your friend request, it shows up in that message, and now they know exactly what's going to happen, and that could set you up perfectly. Anybody have any questions about that? Is that pretty straightforward? So is everybody now going to look at an address only as a Facebook profile? Yes? Is everybody going to look at an address only right now? And every single person that comes, I'm not expecting you to go do it for some of you that have been here, for some of you been here for years or have like 1,000 leads. Like, okay, well, that's so overwhelming. Okay, well,
get started early then.
then you know, if you're like waiting for your next deal and you're like worried about not being able to get things done this year the way you need to, well, you have gold right there that you can spend an hour or 2 hours on a day, and it could pay huge dividends. So at the end of the day, all you're trying to do is start a communication with them. If you can help them, if you can start that communication, come from a place of service and you're authentic about it, why not use a free communication software, which is Facebook Messenger, and it's free opportunity to send a video introducing yourself, right? And it's trackable. The beauty behind Facebook Messenger is I know when you've read it. That's why I use it all the time with you guys. If you're getting my messages and I can see it says seen, and you're not responding, then I'm like, well, I guess they're just not interested, right? But this doesn't mean I'm not gonna, you know, I'll be persistent, and I'll eventually get you to respond. And that's the same way you got to look at these leads, because you're just coming from a place of value and just saying, hey, what's the best way to get this information to you, right?
One other thing, in the comment section, if anybody's doing this, I want to know kind of community engagement. What are you guys doing in regards to, does anybody have a kind of a community page on Facebook for the area that you farm? Does anybody run community events, you know, whether it be home buying seminars or game night at a local pub or something like that? Or is anybody doing anything like that at this time? You can throw it in the comment section. The reason I ask is because I've been working with a few different people individually and trying to kind of get a few people to really take that leap and go that direction. Something that I used to do a lot of back when I was selling real estate. It worked really well for me. I just had, and we're going to get them on next week, but I had one of my clients run a to-do list. Perfect. And, you know, it's a good to-do. And I'm going to have a success story here. Hopefully tomorrow, this one individual, she'll share with us next week, I'm sure. Last night was her first ever. She was hosting it was like a trivia / you know, game night at a local establishment, a place that they do a lot of their farming and marketing around. And same thing, if anybody who was on 2 weeks ago, she was here to share. Yeah, and farmers markets, perfect. Absolutely. That's wonderful. This lady was on to share about how she's creating these cards for her local, it was a local coffee shop where she's gone in and said, okay, I'm going to create, say 500 cards. I'm going to number them. And every time somebody comes in and provides and gives this card, redeems this card, you give them, you know, $2, $5, whatever it says on the card off. I will come back once a month and pay out the balance, right? And pay off what I owe. Now, she's been now sitting in this coffee shop, spending a lot of time in this coffee shop, is getting a lot of interest. Now she decided to host a whole game night. So the idea here is, once again, you're just really driving community engagement, right? If you're focusing on an area that's, you know, at the state level or an entire county, it's a little bit tougher. But when you're really focusing on your local neighborhood, you can really start to take it over.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Here's a thought. The best of fill in your farming area group, right? The best of, for us, the best of Kelowna, the best restaurants, the best coffee shops, the best insurance guys, the best mortgage brokers, the best, right? And all you're doing is featuring local businesses that are your favorite, and you're inviting everybody to that group. And now all of a sudden it's becoming the best. Hey, what's you guys' favorite, you know, Italian restaurant? What's your favorite blah, blah, blah? And you guys are all interacting and coming in there. And it's just a way to kind of, it's not like we have all the time to do that, but that's just a thought process, because where Facebook is heading is Messenger and groups are going to be the big thing that Facebook is trying to push this year. So however you can figure out to create a group is going to be a great opportunity. And I think the idea of, again, thinking of every single lead as somebody who has yet to have a relationship with you, so the address only is one's included, profile them, drop them into a list, and be relentless. Because when you revisit that list, the beauty behind that is, guys, when you revisit that list, you're going to occasionally click on those people to see where you're at with them. And there's still, a lot of them are going to still say pending request. So what should you do when you see the pending request? When you come back a week later, cancel the request. and resend it because it's a new dopamine hit on their end. Oh, I got a friend request. And it's like the third time that I've got this friend request from Denise or from Leon. I'm like, oh, maybe we're supposed to be friends. It looks like we have mutual friends. He must be da-da-da-da, right? And all of a sudden you accept him. You said now that is somebody that you can become an influence of. And that's the key is all I want for them to be is I want you to be in their newsfeed. I want you guys to be in their newsfeed as often as possible because I'm hoping that all your content you're producing is a great combination of who you are, that's real to you, but also the business side. And you're going to combine both of them. I think that's the important piece of it. What I wanted to, and I promised to share with you guys on this was, here's the new course that we've created. Okay. So the curriculum set up for you to always have access to. And what I'm just going to quickly, like obviously this stuff is set up for some people just beginning with street tech. So, you know, what does it take to be successful with street techs? That's kind of like a fun little highlight video that John on our team put together of some of our past clients. You know, the Tom Ferry, are you in the top 3% of realtors? These are people he's calling out that are not doing more than 24 transactions a year in the States. Calculating your ROI and setting your goals. It's just a fun little ROI calculator that kind of gives you, you know, set it up. And you can also share your stories in here and say, hey, I've been with Street Techs this long. I've had this many deals. The more you comment on all these modules and sections, the more we'll be able to build off of it and make this better for you. You know, if the frequently asked questions that we get, if there's questions that are not in there that we're not hitting, let us know. Comment. I'm leaving the comments open on all of them. Making sure you have your Facebook reviews pulled in. And I'm trying to keep all these modules less than a minute long, if possible. Logan went and did a 4-minute one. I'm sorry, that was a little bit long for me. I'm just joking. We want
to hear comments on everybody. That's going to be everybody's favorite video. I'm sure of it.
Exactly. You know, making sure your SMS is in there. Keisha, I took your snapshot right here and focused on that win that you talked about, which is cool. You know, every time you obviously can schedule the live conference calls, they're always open to you. Some free Street Techs resources that we talk about, how to view your ad, which you guys probably know at this time, how to view your leads, which I'm sure you know, but how about how to find your leads on Facebook? That's what we talked about today, right? That's an easy fix that you guys should start doing. That's a to-do list. Which funnel should you use? This is where Logan gets in. Micro versus macro. We've talked about this many times in terms of setting your ads to win and how many ways you can test it. The importance of split testing. You guys are all very familiar with that at this point. The idea of going out to the marketplace, running 3 or 4 or even half a dozen ads all at the same spend, waking up in the morning and eliminating losers, right? The thought process of it only takes a few hundred people reach to make sure that ad is the one that you want to keep running with. And we'll set one up for the odometer reading too, that Logan, and I don't know if you touched on that in there, but that's your analytics. So you're going to be talking about that one, I'm sure, in a future module. How to edit and track in your email drip campaign that we were talking about today, editing your SMS, you guys know that. How to add in an email signature, which hopefully you guys are kind of getting now. It's important to put that email signature in there, your picture at least, your brand, your slogan, all that stuff in there. Embedding video in your email. We talked about that, right? And how to do that. Address only leads, right? Here's this one that I took from Patrick the other day, because he's saying he's getting insane responses on this. And that's, if you remember, if you guys are at that mastermind, he talks about how he guarantees your home sold in 30 days. So I put a little link to that mastermind so you can talk about this little message he has about that. I mean, obviously it's, you know, there's some fine print in there, but it's a sweet marketing tool for him. And he's gotten a lot of great transactions out of that one. Trying the script and the autoresponder. That's the one with Marley, but we want to know more scripts that you guys are using in the autoresponders and seeing if they're working for you. We want to know if anything you're doing on that autoresponder, which is the first email that they're getting from you within the moment they put in their information, is working. And I want to see the same on the buyer side, because I think the buyer opportunity is there because we're obviously on the buyer campaigns we're running. It's the first pull is an email, right? Just the script that got Jessica 5 listing appointments in 1 week. This is the Zulia approach that Logan was talking about. You know, Zillow thinks your home is worth this. Realtor estimates it's closer to this. Trulia guesses it may be around this. As you can see, the internet has no idea what your home is actually worth, right? This is a good one you might want to test out a little bit for these home value approaches. And then our mastermind recordings that we put in. So make sure you know that every one of these masterminds, even if you can't attend, they're always in here. So you could always go back to these and see what the topics are. And then, you know, the idea of friends lists. That's that so far. That's the ones that we have. So if you don't have that, make sure you're in that course. And the coupon code for it is right here. I'm just going to share it with you guys. Version code. If you're not already in it, if you're already in it, it's yours. But if you're not, just go to that Street Text Academy course. It's in your dashboard under courses, and that will give it to you for free. Cool. And if there's anything, so is there anything on there based on what we didn't hit? Because I just went through that really fast. Is there any sections you'd like us to build? That would be my question to you guys. Is there anything on there that we're not hitting that would help you?
Hey there, Marcus. It's Sherry. Hi.
Hey, Sherry.
Hi there. Hey, wanted to ask a question in regard to follow-up. Once you give the evaluation, the range, what are some of the things people are doing to do follow-ups and stay engaged with the customers when the timing isn't quite right and being in front of them outside of the retargeting?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that'd be for you guys to answer. What are you guys doing out there for people that are 3 months out, 6 months out, a year out? How are you staying in touch with them?
One of the, if you're not already running your own, most of us already have websites or whatever. In my drips, what I do is I go ahead and I use a top producer program called Snapshot. I set them up in that, and I have it going out to them. Initially, it's every 2 weeks, but if they're long-term, I might do it once a month or quarterly, just so it goes out and gives them a touch, sends them neighborhood stuff. And then I've got other stuff set up where I've got text messages out of my program that I've been rewriting them this last week that says from Julie, so that I'm sending a text as well or something from yourself just to let them know, hey, reaching out, just want to say hi, see how things are going. And if you set it up right away, it's a set it and forget it. But when it goes out, I get notified, so I know the thing has gone out. And that way, if they respond, I'm not feeling stupid, wondering like, oh, what are they talking about?
Right.
That's awesome. Sherry, another thing I would do is make sure that you're putting those leads into lists on Facebook. So make sure you profile them and then put them into the quarterly check-in or someone who said 6 months. And so you know where all your leads are in accordance. So you can go back and check those. And if you send a Facebook message to them, you'll know when's the last communication you had with them. And you're like, okay, this is the time. And you'll always be revisiting those lists. So those are the ones I would do with people that at least you've had a conversation with. Make sure any conversation you had is going to be your top priority for those people because you want to stay in touch. Make sure at least those are in lists. The address onlys, you do just the first time. Everything else, everything around the communication, put them in the list. And remember, you can put them in multiple lists. They can cross over into 10 lists if you wanted to. But that's the power of the list side of Facebook.
Okay.
Marcus, I've also been taking any of the people that I've had contact with, telling me they're 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 months out, putting them in my MLS for search for their neighborhood. So it updates them anytime there's new homes to come on the market or if something sells or anything. I give them the full access to that, and I can see when they click into their portal and open it as well. So it's another way to
That's a good idea.
tabs on what they're doing.
And you're doing that for your sellers as well, right? Not just buyers.
Yeah,
perfect.
For my sellers, my sellers who are 3, 4, 5, 6 months out on selling their home, I give them their neighborhood, all activity, and in the portal, and it automatically sends them something if it goes pending, if it's a price drop, if something new comes on the market, something settles, and I can see when they go in and click. So it reminds me to reach back out to them again.
Yeah, and I mean, if somebody's gone in, once in the last 3 months is one thing, but if you start seeing them all of a sudden, their activity ramps up in their 3 days, 3 times yesterday, well, guess who's getting a phone call?
That's right. They're getting closer at that point, right?
Yeah, smart. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That's great. See, that's what I love about Mastermind. Any other ideas around that, guys?
I need to start taking inventory of the people that left phone numbers and calling them and just having a conversation with them. So I'm making that a part of my daily But at this point, I have quite a few leads. But I know when I started out with street text, I think Donna Swansea, when we talked about like she never liked to make phone calls or whatever. She didn't call people. So I don't know. Sometimes I'm apprehensive about calling people, but I've made it part of my day to basically call people and just, see if they have any real estate needs.
Yeah.
Introduce
One
myself.
one thing, if I can, first, Marcus, on that is one thing that I always made sure that I had done before I start making my real estate calls is we're always so quick to try to qualify our clients, but we have to make sure we've qualified ourselves first. So what I like to do is I like to kind of go down and I almost go through a quick little checklist before I make a phone call or before I go through a series of phone calls and make sure that not only am I trying to get value from them, I'm giving value to them. Right. So I make sure if I'm making sales calls on a particular listing that I have or upcoming or something, I'm ready to present something, once again, an item of value. If I'm looking for them to sell their home, maybe I already know of another property that they're going to want to maybe move into or whatever it may be. I have a couple bullets in my gun. I always have, say, 3 talking points that I'm trying to lead them to. I'm not just picking up the phone and hoping they answer it and winging it, right? I tried to always have 3 talking points that if I got to them, great. If not, then obviously the conversation went in a different direction. That's fine. But I'm trying to lead the conversation down a path that is of my choosing. I let them be a big part of it, of course. But that was always my goal is I come into it with the value. I know what I want to tell them. It's not just, hey, do you want to list your home with me? No, it's, okay, what are these people probably going to want? Do they need to buy first? Is there another property that's coming on the market that I know of that's near them that's maybe going to be going on the market for considerably more or less than it should? Whatever it may be, I've got some inside information that I'm going to divulge in my own course, right? So qualify yourself first. What are you offering them in that conversation? As long as you have something of value that you're excited to share with them, it offers that extra little bit of excitability. Once they pick up the phone, you're excited because you can't wait to share something. But if all you're doing is trying to get information from them, it's a one-sided conversation that to me doesn't always end well. So be prepared. Preparation is everything. Right? And now I'm going to say don't overthink it, but you know what I mean? Like come into it, have a slight framework, have a few talking points that you've got prepared, let the conversation flow naturally, and then try to direct it into one of those areas.
Agreed. That's awesome. Hey guys, and just recall, like when you're looking at all your contacts and we're revisiting the ones that have given us phone numbers, what we always want to make sure we're doing is the easiest way for me is instead of going through contacts, I mean, that's great, especially when you're, and let's be honest, take notes with every single lead. Make sure that you are tracking everything you've done. Because if you're not, how are you going to ever remember what you did? Right? So take notes, use the notes section to tell exactly, and put in there things like send a friend request to, drop them Facebook message, do everything that you did, send them something in the mail. I'm going to, set a reminder in there that says, I'm going to follow up in 2 weeks. With the right? Do the notes section. The notes section is going to really help you go back to it. But if you go to submissions, that's where in your submissions tool, always look at the contact details form 2. That's the one where, these are the people who went entirely through the funnel. Even if they didn't put their name in and phone number, that is everybody who would have gone entirely through the funnel. So that would for sure be your lowest hanging fruit. And then you work backwards from there. Make sense?
And just like we suggest split testing your ads, split test your follow-up, right? I mean, if you're nailing it right away and everything that you're doing is working, you're converting leads, hey, stick with it. You figured it out. But if you, especially when you're first starting, whatever it is, try a few different things as long as you are noting them, right? Because you're going to be able to look back in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it is, and say, okay, here's what's working, here's what's not working. Like Keisha, your account we just looked at there, sent valuation and the date. Great. Now, if you look back on this and say 6 months and all of those people that you've sent evaluation to, you've never had a conversation, while, you have offered them value, and I think that sending them a evaluation can certainly work. If you haven't got conversation started with those people, maybe we try something different, or beforehand, I'd even try something different now. We always talk about that, you know, the Zulia template or door knocking or whatever it is. Hey, go on a quick door knocking rampage. You know, it may not be your favorite thing to do. I know personally, I can't say I love door knocking, but it's effective. But maybe you go door knock, pick 10 addresses, door knock them, and then note them in this section, door knocked, right? And what your success was.
And for sure, all of you guys, especially Keisha, I would say all those phone number submissions that you've gotten, all those people you sent home values to, those are the ones you actually need to, number one, make sure you're profiling on Facebook and dropping them into a list, saying, you know, and letting them know who you are. And even referencing back, hey, just Keisha here, you know, in the message that you sent, I'm just, you know, I'm the one who sent the home value to you 3 weeks ago, or, you know, 3 months ago, or half a year ago. Just wanted to introduce myself and let you know that I can get you an updated home value whenever you'd like.
In any conversation, if anybody else, if they've reached back to you in any way, whether it be a text to your personal number, an email, a phone call you've had, note that as well, because there's nothing more embarrassing than reaching back to somebody in 3 months, 6 months and saying, hey, you know, how's it going? I haven't heard from you since whatever. And they're like, well, we talked 3 months ago, right? And it can be tough because, I mean, you're not dealing with 1 or 2 clients. You're talking 50, 60, 100, 500 clients that have come through these things, right? So make sure every single time you have a conversation with somebody, you don't need to write out everything that was written with their dog's name, everything like that. But you certainly want to say, had a conversation on, you know, May 29th regarding X. Just real quick. And if you find that your note section is getting a little bit too lengthy on our dashboard, I'd also recommend maybe keeping a separate spreadsheet. So you keep all your leads here, maybe keep an Excel spreadsheet of your conversations, of your hot clients, of whatever it is, of people that you're really interested in. And once you've had a conversation, you quickly add that conversation to that Excel spreadsheet. A little bit easier to follow up with people that way.
Yeah. I like the idea of anytime there's activity in their neighborhood and that other homes selling, somehow getting them updates about that. So they're always all aware of what's happening in their neighborhood. Right?
So one of the things, Marcus, the guy earlier that said about the portal, not sure what MLS he's running. We run Matrix on our end. Something you said in the street text, freebie for the day. Everybody should go update all their signatures, because there's a lot of people that have their MLS signatures just default. They've not done anything with those. And if you're trying to drive them to yourself, you can drive them to your Facebook page and everywhere else like that as well, because the idea behind it is every time you have a piece of correspondence going out, they should be able to just link it to from whatever you're sending them. And if you're going to send them that monthly update out of the portal, like I can choose to do it once a month on mine instead of spam them every day as soon as they come out. And on a seller that's long term, that's the ideal thing. Buyers need it now because they're looking now. Sellers, as they get around it and you're incubating, if you send them once a month, you're not over spamming them. It'll work with what Julie's doing as well. But you need to update your default signature in your MLS as well, so that you've got everything directing to you and driving them where you want them to go. And it's free.
Love it. And we'll add these. This is great stuff. We're going to add these into the section. So we're going to put this into the course. Again, make sure you guys have access to that course. Make sure that you're reviewing that stuff. Make sure anytime you need help that you say, hey, Marcus, Logan, will you guys build something specifically for, because I want to make sure that you have everything that you possibly need to succeed in that conversion course, both on the ad level, but also on the conversion side. So anything we're not hitting in that course, let us know. And the more comments you give us, like as you're going through the modules, the better we can build it. Because at the end of the day, like it is our hope to see you guys all get as many transactions as possible and share as many wins as you possibly can. And so we can continue bettering the system, both on the ad side, the funnel side, but with scripts that are working for people. Cool, guys? All right. Any other questions or anything that you want to touch on these last few minutes? Go ahead. Got to unmute yourself there, Gary.
Okay, I had a question about the new listing lead ad. So I did test it out for about 4 or 5 days. I got no stats that came out in the funnels. And I also, what I did was I entered myself as a lead, and I never received the lead in street text. So seeing if you guys, I don't know if some bugs, if you guys fixed it yet or what's going on with it.
That's a brand new funnel. So I would actually send an email to Steven, STEPHEN @streettext.com, because Steve's lead on that. He created it.
Okay.
And he'll go look at your account for whoever's running this specific listing one. He'll go look and he'll tell you exactly what's happened. That's my best recommendation to you.
Okay. I'll just friend him on Facebook and message him.
Yeah, friend him a message, send him a message.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and same thing. Any issues that you guys are having with any funnels, anything like that, always send things to support@streettext.com right away as well. We can make sure that we get the right people on it. We have a big team here of people who are all. Everybody has their jobs, of course, right? So Steve's absolutely in charge of the lead ads, and he'll be able to help you there. But anything that you send to support will be filtered through to the right areas as well.
Cool. Any other questions? Anything? So. As we were going through that course, does anything come to mind in terms of that you would want more clarity on, or does it seem pretty straightforward? I mean, I guess the key is there anything missing in there that you've seen based on what you just went through? Is there anything that we could build right now for you? And I guess we got it. So, Logan, I guess we're on it, buddy. Good.
Get it. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can't stress enough the idea of macro micro testing, and I can't stress enough that when you're running the neighborhoods that you want to be in, the specific zip codes you want to be in, zoom in as far as you possibly can. Find, with that map, whether it's a satellite, whether it's the terrain, or whether it's the regular old map, find like the benchmark locations of your area that everybody would resonate with. Like, try to go in as zoom in as possible, and obviously mess around with those a little bit, experiment a little bit with dropping a pin versus zip codes versus the names, because zip code is going to go extinct soon. So use it for now while you can, and see how it's working, and get to testing, because at the end of the day, that's the key. Is if you can tap into one overnight that is better than all the other ones you're running, then that's the one you're going to continue with. So never be okay with the funnel that you have. Even if it's a great one, it's good to occasionally test something new and unique and different. Even the equity conversion side, test the equity conversion funnel, right? Test that one. Test the conversion one with the house as well as another test. I'm pushing for the team to create a map variation of that conversion one, because I think it would be a really good pool on that as well. So just keep on testing. That's my encouragement to you to find the low-cost leads. Awesome, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you at the next weekly mastermind. In the meantime, send us messages if you want us to build anything for you, especially on the course concern.
See you guys.